Hey, welcome to Romance Happy Hour. I'm Dylann Crush, and I am here tonight, as always, with Dawn Ludicky over there, co-hostess. And tonight we have two awesome A-name guests. We have
Yeah.
Ashley Winstead and Ashton Brooks, and we're
Hi.
super excited to have both of them joining us tonight. So
Well, I'm excited to be here. And you're good at that pointing. I usually get that backwards.
Yeah,
it is
I
backwards,
still do.
I was
but
like,
we have had
awesome.
so much practice with this that we're used to it.
Love
So
it.
yeah. So
Yes.
Dawn, you want to
Yes.
tell us what you have been up to lately? I see we got Linda joining us. Linda, we haven't seen you for a
Yay,
while.
Linda.
Welcome. We're excited to have you back.
Yeah,
Um,
she's our Canadian. She's our favorite
yes,
Canadian.
our token. I was
Okay.
going to say, not our token
Token.
Canadian. We do have,
Our favorite. Our favorite. That's a
yes,
nicer
our
word than
favorite
token.
Canadian
Yeah,
viewer. That's
our
right.
favorite.
So Dawn,
Um,
tell us what you've been up to since I
yes.
last saw you when I was in Nashville, coming
Yes.
to you live from
Yes. And
Nashville.
we had
Well,
we had
fun.
the war of who had the worst internet that day.
We did. It was
Yeah.
pretty bad. We were
It was
both
pretty even, I think. Yeah, our readers
yeah.
were like, I don't know. You're all pretty bad. So
Yeah, it was
Oh
I was on
no.
hotel internet and Dawn is, as always, on Montana internet, and
yeah.
yeah, neither one were very reliable.
Yep,
So
and our guest was hotel internet too.
she was.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh,
we
well,
had
everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
is that
everyone
good.
did. It was pretty fun. I had the release a couple weeks ago for the Saved by the Everyday Hero anthology, that has kind of a book one in a world kind of series to bring you to Saved by the Fire Chief, which will be released in November, and which I am working on and talking to Dylan. And now I'm like, oh crap, I need to redo this completely because I just realized it's going to be released in the holidays. So I need to put some kind of holiday-ish stuff in there. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on, getting that done, and just editing and writing and all the fun stuff that makes me tired.
It's always a great time. Blurbs, all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
Blurbs. Oh yeah, those are exciting.
Isn't that
Always
the worst feeling though when all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot something huge. I have
Yeah,
to go back
yeah.
and do it all over again. I like
Yeah.
recently had one of those too. So
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you, Dylan?
So I am back at home. I traveled around Tennessee. We were in Knoxville, Nashville, Lynchburg. It was a lot of fun, and I'm back. I took my oldest back to college yesterday, so
Yeah.
so cute.
I know. So yeah, real life stuff. Getting ready for the kids to get back in school. No, my kids here in Minnesota, they don't get back till after Labor Day, and so I know a lot of the country is already back at school. We're still in summer up here. But I've been working on, I have a book releasing on Labor Day, one of the September's for Shaw, the co-written Mountain Man series that I've got out with Eve London and Casey Rose. So that's coming out on Labor Day. And then I've got the next book in my Whiskey Wars series that I am working on. So that's
Yeah.
going to come out yet this fall. So
speaking of the Whiskey Wars, though, because last time we saw you, you were about to go visit the distillery, right? How did that trip go?
it was amazing. I mean, I've done, so many whiskey distillery visits in the name of research for writing this series. It's been just a real hardship. But this was like, the Grandpappy whiskey distillery tour. I went and toured Jack Daniels. So that was like, yeah, it was a bucket list item for sure. And it was a lot of fun. And it's amazing. I mean, every bottle of Jack Daniels that comes out comes from that manufacturing facility in that tiny little town. And yeah, so it was pretty cool. And our tour guide was amazing. And it was just a lot of fun.
So do they
So,
have like a Jack Daniel's Days, like holiday there in that town, since it's a small town?
I
with a
feel like every day
distillery?
there is Jack Daniel's Day.
Yeah.
But we got to eat. We had lunch at Miss Mary Bobo's, which was if you've done, I mean, obviously I'm like totally a nerd when it comes to whiskey distilleries and stuff like that. But it was a boarding house for a long time, and now it's like this old house that they sit down and they serve it all family style, and so they have a host or hostess that sits down with you that talks about the town and gives you the history, and it was just really fun. So, and that was a bucket item too, because I have an ex boarding house restaurant in my book also.
Okay.
So that was kind of modeled after that, and so it's fun to go visit places in real life that you have kind of fictionalized and put in your books. Have you guys ever done that?
Oh yeah.
Any of you?
In fact, I will go on vacation and be, well, it's usually the other way around. I'm like, you know what? We should write this off. I should put this in one of my books. And I'm like, okay, now there's a chapter like,
Right.
at this vineyard or something. So that's the way I do it. But I love
Nice.
family style restaurants.
It was fun.
They're
And I
so
mean, we
fun.
just sit down, we were at a table of, I think there were 8 of us and our hostess. And I mean, I was just there with my friend. And so there were 6 people there. We had never met. And so, but we got to know them, and yeah, it was fun.
It's
I mean,
always-
I'm
as
sure
an
that's like a
introvert,
nightmare.
intimidating. Oh, sorry.
That would be a nightmare for like a pure like introvert. I think
Yeah.
that would be a total nightmare, but yeah.
Oh, sounds fun.
Yeah. See, Ashton's an extrovert. We can tell already.
It sounds like it'd be something you'd enjoy, especially after some, tastings of
Yes.
Jack Daniels. You can definitely enjoy it then. So
Yes.
The conversation just really starts
Pre-Jack
rolling. Yep.
Daniels introvert. Post
yeah,
Jack
yeah.
Daniels
You're about
extrovert.
extrovert after we visit the distillery.
Yes. Well, because the whole county is dry, so like you can't
Oh.
order a drink at Miss Mary Bobo's because the whole county is dry. So it's
Wow.
it's kind of funny.
It
But
is.
yeah.
Yeah. How big is the county?
Oh, I
mean,
don't know.
did you get to like drive 2 miles away and then you were good to go?
I am.
or
You
is
know
it
what?
late?
It was the middle of the afternoon, so I
Oh,
wasn't
So you didn't test
looking
it out.
for beverages, but at that time we waited till later. But no, it's yeah, you can't go in and order like a glass of anything there. So you can buy at the
That's amazing.
distillery, you buy a decorative bottle, and it just happens to hold whiskey.
Oh,
So,
gotcha. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Just to buy
interesting.
the decorative bottle.
Fascinating.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And so, Dylan, last time we talked to you, you were also about to go back outside,
Mhm.
and we did hear cop sirens in the background and stuff like that. Did you go party on the strip, or?
We went
Oh,
out
no.
well because
Right, Nashville.
I know, because so just to update you, since you were not here last time, so we had just checked into the hotel and did the show, and then we hadn't been out yet, and so I was there with another author, Casey Rose, and so we did venture out after the show was over, and we made it to a couple different, because we stayed like right off Honky Tonk Row in Nashville, which I'd never been to Nashville before. I've driven through it, but we'd never stopped. So we did go to Blake Shelton's Old Red Honky Tonk, and then where else? We went to another one. I can't remember. But then we hadn't eaten anything, and so we were in search of food because I don't know why, but if you ever see Blake Shelton, would you please ask him why the kitchen at his place closes at like 9 o'clock? Because we needed food, is what we needed. We needed food, and so we had to leave and go find somewhere that we could get actual food. Just
And
some of that stuff we'd had at Blake Shelton's Honky Tonk. So
it looks like
Yeah.
Facebook user is in fact Casey Rose.
it might be.
Because
Yeah.
she-
Putting
It might
2 and
be.
2 together.
because she's talking about your trip.
Yes.
I went to college in Nashville, and I like that. That city is very dear to my heart.
It was lively.
Yeah.
I said because I went to Bourbon Street for the first time this year also, and so I said walking along Honky Tonk Row reminds me of walking along Bourbon Street,
Yeah.
but with cowboy hats.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So,
sure.
which
I-
I prefer
Okay.
because I write cowboys. So but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Kind of fascinating to watch, since I went to college there quite a while ago, to watch like the transformation of Nashville, because Broadway, that main drag,
Mhm.
like Honky Tonk Row, did not used to be like that. Like it was
Mhm.
always busy, but not
Now it's like a
not-
party.
yeah, not like Bourbon Street, not like fighting to get through crowds and
Yeah.
Bachelorette Central, you know. So
Mhm.
it's really morphed into that. It's been so interesting to watch.
It was very, very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there on a Thursday night and it was super busy. I said I'd like to come back sometime like during the day where you can actually walk up and down the street and yeah, not be wall-to-wall bodies and not be able to get through. So, but yeah, it was fun.
So, you guys didn't, the viewers didn't hear this, but earlier I was quizzing Ashton where she's from, and she's in Dylann's side of the world.
Yay, finally.
am. Yeah.
But Ashley, where are you from?
Oh, I'm talking to you from Houston, Texas.
Ah,
All right.
Texas
Where it's
girl.
thunderstorming, so I hope you can't hear it in my
Oh
background.
no.
Oh,
Haven't
No.
heard it yet.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
we I grew up in Texas and then Dawn spent a couple of
did.
years in Houston until
Yep.
you got
I
chased
love
out
it.
by
Yeah, we were there at Harvey.
Katrina.
Yeah,
No.
Harvey.
Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were in Dickinson, so my neighborhood was on the Weather Channel, and I said,
Oh no.
"Okay, I'm."
Time to get out.
We pretty much gave up on that one, but no, we were up in Dallas. We evacuated Dallas, but it's all good.
So glad you're okay. Yeah, that was was wild to experience.
Were you down there for that?
I was, but we were watching the news and our friends were getting like helicoptered off the tops of their houses because their
Oh my
floodwaters
gosh.
Yeah.
were so high. We didn't even lose our electricity.
Wow.
Like we had a very different RV experience,
Yeah.
and it was quite wild.
Isn't that so
Nice.
strange?
Yeah.
That's scary. Yeah.
Well, let's get on to talking to our guests.
Yes.
We would like to hear from you. Ashley, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you write and anything else you want to share.
Okay. Let's see. So I am a romance writer, thriller writer, and I recently just kind of entered a new genre of just like upmarket fiction, book club fiction. So I write across genres. I've been writing for about 4 years and am publishing my 5th book this fall. And so I kind of switch between romances and thrillers. I go back and forth and write a romance, write a thriller. And so far I've published 2 books a year. But I do not know if I can sustain this. You can see the bags under my eyes. Yeah, it's been a lot. So yeah, and I usually across genres just write about really complicated, flawed women finding catharsis and meaning in their lives, whether that's, you know, like infiltrating a secret cult and bringing someone to justice, or like meeting their true love and and getting together with them. So that's kind of like the through line through my work. And as I mentioned, yeah, I live here in Houston with my husband and 2 cats. And I have my PhD in English Lit and I've just been a lifelong reader. So I'm really happy to be on this side of the books, the writing of them rather than analyzing.
That
Great.
sounds
Well,
like a good way to do it, like romance then thriller. So you kind of get a break, like a mental break. And
I kind of wish the stories going together. I was
Yeah.
like,
Right.
together?
Oh my gosh. Yes, they frequently do. And I have to be like, oh no, did I write both of them librarians? And is there a jukebox scene in both books? But I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
shoot. That has happened actually.
Isn't that funny though? How we kind of have our favorite, I don't know. I think there was
Go-tos.
one conference I went to where was it Jennifer Barnes called it your id list, where, you know, there's different things that you love that you want to put into your books. And so, you know, some
Yes.
people will say like they always love to have their characters kiss in the rain or something like that, you know, where you just have these scenes. And I find myself repeating things as well because I get a kick out of
Yeah.
those scenes, or I love those scenes or whatever.
So fascinating. And I actually have learned a lot about myself from realizing what has popped up in all of my manuscripts. You know, there are some things where I'm like, wow, I've done a big party scene again where everyone's like getting too drunk and, you know, like letting their inhibitions. I must really like that.
Bonfires.
List one day.
It's always bonfires for me. There's always a bonfire party somewhere. I don't know why.
Ah.
It always is.
It's because bonfires
Did you
are
grow
amazing.
up
That's a great
going to
one.
bon?
I did. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I So I am from Minnesota and born and raised here. So like we usually have bonfires like every season. So
Mhm.
except winter, but yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, like
Oh,
lots of
yeah.
parties.
I find them very
Lots of
romantic
parties.
with that fire sparking.
Yeah, it's like
So
fun to just
evocative.
chill at and
I
have
was
a
gonna
party.
say I've seen plenty of people around here who still have bonfires in the winter. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can definitely. So
yeah.
Love it.
So Ashton,
yeah.
speaking of bonfires, tell us a little bit about you and we know you're from Minnesota and what you write and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I have been a romance reader for very many years, and so I started writing in 2019 is when I first published. And I mostly write just romance, but it is I write a little bit of everything. So I have some romantic suspense, I have some contemporary romance, and I have some dark romance that I write with a co-author of mine, a friend of mine. And then a little bit of some new adult type college level stuff. So kind of all over the board, but it is mostly romance with some bonfires. Yeah, so then I live with my husband and I've got 3 little kiddos. So it's busy here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I got going on.
I love that you write all different kinds. That's keeping your brain fresh too. That's awesome.
I have to. I can't.
Yeah.
And usually, even if it's like not has had nothing to do with it, somehow I sneak a little bit of suspense in there. Something happens. Like I don't know. I can't help it. I try not to, but
Mhm.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
So.
everyone loves suspense, like a little
I do. I
tidbit.
get like a little bit of like I don't know if it's my psychology major or what, but I always have to like slide a little bit of something in there, some type of a mind game, or someone dies or something.
Oh, I love it.
Usually some type
That's
of
like my
thriller, a little
perfect
twist in there.
book. Combining all my loves.
It's just not a happy romance unless someone dies, right?
Unless there's a body found
Right.
somewhere and there's a mystery, it's just not a romance book.
That's funny.
That is honestly what my agent has said to me before. Like every romance I send her, she's like, another book about grief. Okay. And it's a romance. And she's like, great. I'm like, well,
I
it's not
know.
a romance unless someone dies.
Yeah.
I tried really hard with my new series and it still has a little bit of suspense in there. I'm like, it's just supposed to be about a music tour. And somehow
Yeah.
there is something going on.
I love
Well,
it.
but I bet your readers love that because if you have that kind of common thread throughout all of your
Mhm.
books, or you just kind of veer into that area, then it's probably something that they have come to expect and
Yeah.
would miss if you didn't have that.
Probably. So
Well, Dylann, shall we get to hearing the
Yes.
books?
Yeah, let's get to reading. Ashley has volunteered to go first. So do we are you reading from chapter 1 or do we need a setup of some
Yes.
sort?
Okay, so I'm going to read from The Boyfriend Candidate, which is my book that came out in May of this year. And just a really quick, I'm reading from chapter 2, so not much of a setup, but a real quick orientation to where we are is our protagonist, Alexis Stone, is trying very hard at the beginning of The Boyfriend Candidate to get over the fact that her ex-boyfriend, when they were breaking up, called her boring and a dud in bed. So this
Ouch.
obviously, yes,
Ow.
brutal. And so she, after wallowing, of course, for a requisite few months, has decided to get back out there, prove to herself she's exciting, she can be adventurous in bed. And to do that, she has decided to go out to a bar, like a known pickup scene, and have her first one-night stand. Unfortunately for her, the first man she catches is a creeper. As that is wont to happen. And she can't get rid of him. She even invents a new name, Ruby Dangerfield, to try to get him away. She can't get rid of him until this other stranger, this very handsome man with a British accent, swoops in, scares the guy off. And so what I'm going to read is after Alexis asks this handsome man if she can buy him a drink. So he's agreed. He's going to get around. And I am just a fair warning. I am not going to do his British accent because I don't want to embarrass myself. It would be painful. Okay.
All right, we are going to put you up there by yourself and we'll be back when you are done.
Okay. All right. I watched him elbow his way through the crowd and make it to the bar in record speed, laughing to myself as he flagged down the bartender's attention ahead of half a dozen people who turned to him in outrage. which he roundly ignored. It was amazing. I'd managed to find my polar opposite. But our differences weren't aggravating. In fact, simply being around Logan felt like taking a mental vacation. Without anyone nearby to judge, I let myself study him, lingering over the lines of his body, his face in profile. He wasn't bulky, but his white-collared shirt pulled taut across his shoulders, tightest over the swell of his biceps as he leaned against the bar. His shirt was tucked smartly into belted navy pants that were fitted enough to show, oh, his ass was round and firm, the kind you found on baseball or soccer players, men who worked for it. I bit my lip. Who was I right now? I never lusted like this. I hadn't even realized I was capable of it. When I met a guy, I certainly noticed whether he was attractive or not, but I'd never had this kind of visceral reaction. Was it Logan's brashness I was responding to? My body soaking it up and reflecting it back like a mirror? Or had I simply morphed into a caricature of a sex-deprived woman? Either way, it felt good, like someone had flipped a switch to remagnetize me. The sudden buzzing attraction proof that I was very much alive. Even better that Logan was so wildly out of my league. I could simply sit back and admire him for admiration's sake. I was still contemplating this when he turned, 2 whiskeys in hand, wearing an expression of such great annoyance it was like he'd heard my inner monologue. Despite his expression, my chest warmed at the thought that he was making his way back to me out of all the people in the bar. Jerks, he pronounced, sliding my drink to me. Up there at the bar complaining about having to refurb their company's oil rigs because of environmental rules. Boo-hoo, it's going to cost you a little extra money in exchange for not poisoning the planet. Get over it. He sounded just like my sister Lee, which I found endearing. I grinned and sipped my drink, prepared to hear all about it. But his eyes followed the drink to my mouth and his annoyed expression dropped, replaced by a guilty smile. It made small wrinkles frame his eyes like commas. His eyes were such a warm, rich brown. It was amazing how much he could convey with them. Now they radiated a sly, amused knowing. Anyway, he said, drawing it out, on to more important things. I've told you about me. Now I want to know everything about you, from the day you were born to the moment you walked into this bar. The good, the bad, the ugly, the X's. Unpack yourself, Ruby Dangerfield. I'm prepared to be fascinated. I laughed to cover the sudden sharp ache. Alexis Stone the bore. I wanted so badly to impress this magnetic stranger. But obviously, my real life wouldn't cut it. A wild hair struck me. You mean you want to hear how my parents conceived me on a motorcycle tour around America, and my mom gave birth to me at the mouth of the Niagara Falls? Logan's eyebrow shot up. Really? My heart raced. Just like that, I was fascinating. Sure, I was lying, but what did lying matter on a night I'd specifically carved out to be a blip in reality, an island of time disconnected from every other day? I would never see Logan or any of these people again. I could do anything. Why not try on another life for a few hours? Wait until you hear about my siblings, I said, settling back in my chair. I'm the oldest of 6, and one of them is an honest-to-God international spy. Another knows Oprah. I proceeded to talk more in one straight shot than I ever had in my life. I told Logan story after story. It turned out it was much easier to talk when I was pretending to be Ruby. During one stretch, I ran out of ideas and had to borrow plot lines from the first book that came to mind, a popular children's fantasy novel about dragon hunters, one of the hazards of being a children's librarian. Simply praying Logan hadn't read Charlie Cooper and the Hunt for the Mystical Dragon's Egg. Mostly, though, I found myself telling him true stories, with the edges blurred. My past actions more heroic, my comebacks wittier, me the star of the shenanigans, and my siblings the sidekicks. All the ways I'd wished life had gone. It was exhilarating to be on this side of the storytelling for once. Unsurprisingly, Logan was not a passive listener. He burst in with questions, forced me to stop when he laughed so hard he shook the table, and made me pause mid-sentence so he could go fetch another round, then another. Time dilated into a warm, fuzzy stretch until before I knew it, the lights in the fleur-de-lis had dimmed and the crowd had thinned to us and a man who'd fallen asleep in his bar stool, snoring like a bear. Shit. Logan wiped his face and glanced around. What time is it? I pointed at his watch to remind him he was wearing one, and he jerked it to his face, then blanched. Do you want the truth or, he grimaced, a lie that makes you feel better? I sighed and leaned back in my chair, feeling the plunging V of my dress pull tight against my chest. Logan cleared his throat, dropping his eyes. Honestly, I said, give me the beautiful lie. Come on. He rose to his feet and extended a hand. I'll walk you out. I seized his hand and he yanked me with more strength than I'd expected. Instead of stopping upright, I sailed forward so fast I had to grip his shoulder so I didn't end up flush against him. Whoa there, he murmured, looking down at the small space between us. He dipped his head, his nose brushing mine. Sorry. I released him and stepped back. Lost my balance. I turned to pick up my purse and shivered, a full-body reaction to having been that close to him. When I turned back, Logan was holding up his navy suit jacket. I shook my head. I'm okay. He shook the jacket, so the sleeves danced. Come on, I can see your goosebumps. Obviously, I couldn't tell him the goosebumps were the result of meeting the mere tip of his nose, so I dipped inside the jacket. Logan draped it carefully over my shoulders, letting it trail like a cape. It was shot through with his scent, which had to be an expensive cologne, subtle but playful, not just woodsy cedar, but notes of something sweeter like berries. Everything about him was a mix of unexpected things. I took a deep breath and wrapped the jacket tighter. Logan tipped his head in the direction of the door, his eyebrows raised in question. My heels made quiet clipping sounds as we strode across the empty lobby. The inside of the fleur-de-lis was all marble floors and ornate brass-piped ceilings, like a cross between a cathedral and a fancy old-time bank. I sighed. What? Logan glanced over as we walked. I just love this place. It's so romantic. It was funny, but as we neared the large glass doors that separated the hotel from the street, I realized I was happy, almost giddy. Even though I hadn't succeeded at the one thing I'd come here to do, there was something about the last few hours spent talking, being the sole focus of someone's attention, that left me feeling the way I'd hoped a one-night stand would. Confident, interesting, liberated. In an unexpected way, I was leaving with exactly what I'd come for. Was it possible to have an emotional orgasm? Okay. Leave us there.
Let me get everybody unmuted here.
Love it.
I
That
loved
was
it.
fabulous.
Thank you.
Oh, and I
Yeah.
love that line. Is it possible to have an emotional orgasm? It sure sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was.
No,
Oh,
that
thank
was
you.
My
lovely.
gosh, you should be an audiobook
I know.
I was just like, I'm like, I
Yes.
can listen to this all day.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. My problem is I get very into reading, so I'll do like the facial expressions and act it out. And I have to like remind myself, you are being filmed right now. So like dial it back.
Well, I think you did great. I was like, I could keep listening.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that immensely. So that was really good. Mhm.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions, Dawn? I thought I saw.
We have one
Fun.
from Linda, and then I have
Okay.
one of my own.
Okay.
But Linda says, what is the best part of your day? And both of you can answer this. We'll go with Ashley first.
Okay, that's such a good question. The best part of my day is when I like hit the groove at my laptop, you know, that like flow feeling. So I know I probably should be saying like when my husband and I sit down together at the end of the night, but
We
I'll
want
be
the
honest.
truth, Ashley. The
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
You're getting my full unfiltered truth. It's that moment where I'm like, okay, I'm in it today. Like, let's go.
Yeah. I miss that feeling. I need that back.
I know, I was gonna say, do you get that feeling every day? Because sometimes I feel like
That's
that
true.
feeling
Yeah.
just is very elusive.
Mhm.
That is true. It's extra
Yeah.
special.
It is.
And what about you, Ashton?
So I guess family wise, it's dinner time when all my kids are there. But as for me, I'm a major night owl and I have a different job during the daytime. So all my writing is in the evening. So it's like finally once everyone's asleep and my house is quiet and I can just get away and get to my area and everything is just ready to type and I'm ready to go because I've been thinking about it all day and I can finally put it out on paper.
Oh my gosh. I love that. And I actually admire you for that because I am not a nighttime writer person. And that is the only time I have available right now. And so I'm just like, oh my God, I want to be a nighttime writer person.
Yeah, that's always been my go-to. So it's, yeah, I don't know, something about the silence in the dark and I love it. I don't know.
I agree, but I have to do that at 4 a.m. right after.
Oh, I've done that before too. When I'm on a deadline, I've done that too. I wake up at 3 and start writing at 4.
Yeah.
Done that too. Yeah.
Not a morning person.
No.
I am also a vampire.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
It's amazing what we do for our craft, isn't it?
Truly.
Yeah.
Well, Dylan, what is the best part of your day?
Well, the first thing that popped into my head when I saw that question was the first sip of coffee in the morning is like the best part of my day. And then I feel like it just goes downhill after that. No, I'm just joking. But that is like, I am a coffee person. And so it's like that first sip of coffee in the morning is a really good part of my day. Other than that, I mean, I think, yeah, my kiddos are getting older and now, with my oldest away at school, it's like anytime I have the 5 of us together is, and we're actually paying attention to each other, not just, working on devices or whatever. And in those times are so few and far between, but yeah, I think that's what fills my heart. It's like you start to realize just how, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting all melancholy here, but you just, those times are so, your kids are still little, Ashton. I never thought it would happen. Like, I never thought that I would feel this way. I never thought it would.
My middle's going to kindergarten. I can't believe it. It goes fast.
Yeah. But it's just, it's when you have everybody together and they're not fighting and everybody's getting along and that's always the best part. So.
Oh, I love that.
How about you, Dawn?
You actually stole my answer.
I'm so sorry.
Coffee.
I knew that's what you were going to say, and so I wanted to say it first.
I felt like you knew. I did. Coffee. Coffee is the best time of my day. 100%.
Oh, that's true. I did probably know that. Subconsciously, I knew that. You're right.
Yeah, because my husband and I say, don't talk to me till after I have coffee, or I might kill you. And if you wait until after, I will make you breakfast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good incentive.
That is my rule. Yeah. Don't talk to me. 1 cup of coffee, 30 minutes. That's what I require. If he texts me, I'm getting in the shower, make me breakfast before that. I'm usually cussing at him while I make him breakfast and finishing my coffee at the same time. So as long as I have that full cup of coffee, I'm usually a very nice person.
Pretty nice.
Afterwards. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. I mean, Dylan's seen me in the morning. So
yeah. I have survived you in the morning.
It's scary.
Yes.
You need like one of those warning sign t-shirts.
I know.
Like, do not attempt.
Yeah.
Do not resuscitate unless there's coffee.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. I'll have to make one of those myself. Okay, so I do have a question. Ashton, I don't know what you write in yet. We'll see here in a minute, but we'll start with Ashley. I noticed that you write in first person. How did you decide to write in first person versus third?
I got the crap beat out of me by a writing mentor for doing third person and I guess not being very good at it. And I say this with total love and gratitude because I got my start as a published writer in the mentoring program Pitch Wars, which, so used to exist. RIP, doesn't exist anymore. But I had written this contemporary YA fantasy just to add another genre into the mix. And it was written in third person from about 6 different perspectives. And my mentor was like, whoa. I have a lot of notes for you. Let's pare down the perspectives. And also I'm feeling a lot of distance between distance with your characters, you're writing in this very academic, detached style. And I was like, oh yeah, that's because I just spent 6 years writing analysis of books rather than books itself, coming out of my grad program.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, third person was such a hang up for me. I couldn't get close enough to my characters. She recommended I switch to first, and it's been like night and day ever since.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so connected, and I'm not having that like detachment, overly analytical problem where I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
like stop that part of my brain.
That's interesting, because I think most people kind of have a natural tendency to either write in third or write in first. And I mean, it's funny because so often we'll hear readers that it's like, I only read first person, or I only read third person, or I'll only read first person present, or whatever. And so it's interesting that you definitely, found your voice in first person.
People have strong opinions, which delight me, just because I don't know that I've ever had that strong an opinion about anything the way people have their opinions about their perspectives. But with every book, I actually try to slightly change up the perspective, like first person present, first person past. So just trying to keep it fresh.
And what about you, Ashton?
So my editor gets mad because I sometimes switch back and forth, unfortunately. But I usually do write in first person. So
it's so visceral.
I'm very bad about mixing them up.
I think it's hard sometimes too, because I write in both. So my trad books are usually third person, and then my indie books are usually first person, although I have not done first person present yet. But I mix them up sometimes too, because, I'll be doing edits in one and then I'll write in another, and all of a sudden I'll read a whole chapter back and realize like I just read the whole thing in first person and it was supposed to be third, or vice versa. And so
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm actually afraid of first person, even though I really want to write in it. But I have started a couple books in first person and ended up switching it back to third, because I guess I'm a scaredy cat. So I'm definitely a storyteller. I'm a storyteller more than a grammarist, and so I'm really afraid that I'm going to be mixing up my tenses so much in first person that they're going to be like, "You're horrible at this." And so
I don't know. I guess
I'm probably horrible at it.
I don't know how you'd mix them up more in first than third. I mean, I would think it would be.
I know. I don't
similar.
know. I mean,
I
guess I might have to. I'll try it. I'll try it once for you.
Try it.
I'll do it.
I found it very freeing to write in first person.
So it's like taking you off.
You feel so much closer to the characters, I think, than in third.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I did, my mentor had me experiment by taking just like a little section and flipping it to see what I thought of my current story. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that could be a good way to like dip your toe in and see what it does to your story. If it's worth taking the plunge.
You could even like rewrite a chapter of something you've already written.
Yeah.
Write a chapter in first person.
I'll do it.
Have some coffee first and then try
3 people twisting your arm.
And not only because like I got to get this book written in the next month. And
maybe not on this book then.
Yeah.
Well, the next one.
So did you see my post today, Dylan?
On the Romance Happy Hour page?
Well, on mine. Yeah, I posted on a couple.
About the nuisance beaver?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. You're gonna go there, aren't you? I
am. Yeah, okay. I had to. Well, because I just in my newsletter, because I did have a writer's block in that one, and I think you would be really proud of me for where the beaver was found in my book.
I will have to read that. I haven't read the story yet. Now I'll have to read it.
You're gonna have to.
I feel like we're being rude by having an inside joke, Dawn, and
I love inside jokes. They're so funny.
Explaining to our guests what in the world you're talking about. So Dawn had to bring up the beaver. We have a little inside joke here at Romance Happy Hour that started a long time ago. Yeah, because Ashton might appreciate this, because I am, like a Texas girl living in Minnesota, and we finally after being here for over 20 years, like took the plunge and bought like a little tiny cabin in northern Minnesota. And so the very first lake meeting, we went up to the Lake Association meeting and we're listening about how we have all these nuisance beavers on our pond. And I just kept elbowing my husband, as they were talking very seriously about what we were going to do about all these nuisance beavers. And so then it's been this ongoing joke now that Dawn and I joke about. And so then I wrote beaver into my books and then Dawn had writer's block one time and she said, what should I do? And I said, insert a beaver. And so it's just been this.
When in doubt, insert a beaver. I was writing a logging book at the time, so it worked.
It did. It worked.
So
that should be on a t-shirt.
I must remember that.
So now, I do it and it works actually like 99% of the time.
Yeah,
I just insert a beaver. So if you're ever reading a book and there's a beaver in my book, I had writer's block and I got over it. So
yep. And you get very creative on different ways that you can insert a beaver because
I'm pretty excited about this one. Yeah. I'm pretty excited where this beaver was found.
Fun Easter egg for your readers.
Yep.
Yes. So yeah, we have beavers in many forms in our books.
We do.
So
and our shows.
I love it.
I'm laughing like I'm a 13-year-old child.
And then Ashley will
And I was like
appreciate
many
this,
different
though.
beavers.
Ashley will appreciate this because then we had a party and Dylan was down in Texas and just happened to get us a Bucky the Beaver onesie. And so we both wore Bucky onesies to our Christmas party. So it was great. Yeah.
Everything about that. The onesie and the beaver part.
Yeah.
Yes. And I still wear mine
I do.
when it's cold out. I know you wear yours when you're camping all the time.
I do. He's in my RV. Yeah.
Yes. If you see an extra large beaver in the wild someday,
Don't
it
shoot
might be one of us. Yeah. Yes. Did I tell you that so my husband went to the Lake Association meeting this year because I wasn't there. He was up there by himself and he went and they said that they have pulled, like they had the professional beaver trapper come in and they pulled like a 70-pound beaver out of our lake.
I'm very impressed by the size of your beaver, but I also like this whole thing though.
We grow them big in Minnesota. We grow big beaver trapper.
I mean, that has to be. You have to write a book where the hero is a beaver trapper.
I think I'm going to have to do that. You're right.
I think you have to do that.
I think I will. I think I will.
All right. It goes so many ways.
It's so many ways.
I am so excited for this.
All right. I feel like we need to move on now, Dawn.
We need to hear from Ashton.
You've taken up. I know, and I was waiting for Linda to chime in here because
I know she's our Canadian.
Yeah, got a lot of questions and stuff going on over there.
Yeah, Linda and I have traded beavers in the mail. So Linda sent me a beaver. Because she knows the beaver story. So, anyways, all right, let's hear from Ashton. I don't know how you're gonna
I don't know top the beaver story.
I don't know how you're going to get us off of beavers, Ashton, but it's your duty. It's your duty tonight to
throw a beaver in your story.
Like, randomly just end the beaver.
If you have a cuss word, just say beaver instead of the cuss word.
There you go.
No, that would be a good idea. Okay.
And then we could do that.
And do that.
Yep.
I'm gonna start laughing then while reading too.
Should have gone first.
Should have. All right.
All right. What do you have for us tonight? Do we need a setup or?
Yeah. So I'll do just a little talk about it real quick. So I'm just going to do a little read from book 1 in my The Bedroom Tour, which is a contemporary romance about a music tour. So this book is the main character is Amelia and Xander. And Amelia is the one who kind of creates this music tour, takes all these talent on her tour, and it's kind of how it starts. So I'm going to skip the beginning part, though, because it's the emotional, angsty part that I want people to experience on their own. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to dive in right away to chapter 9, where Amelia is studying abroad, and she's finding her family and finding her group of friends and basically kind of rebuilding herself up after being torn down. So I might have to insert beaver, though, too. So sorry.
Okay. Just say beaver. We get it.
Okay. Not every book requires a beaver. It's okay.
But do it.
All right. We will leave you to it, and we'll be back when you're done.
All right. So chapter 9, Amelia. Girl, are you about ready? Tabby calls from outside my door. Just a second, I respond before diving into my closet one more time to find my favorite jean jacket to put over my skater-style dress. I slide my arms in and roll up the sleeves, just enough that my tattoo peeks out. It's been a few days and it's nicely healing. I run my fingertip over the light pink petals and the black outline, smiling at the memory of that day. After one last quick look in the mirror, I open my door and head to our shared common area where Tabby and our other two roommates, Sylvia and Monica, are waiting. I love that dress, Mia. Sylvia raises her drink at me, and I smile. These girls have been the biggest boost to my ego since the day we met. Tabby and I are both from the States, while Sylvia is from England and Monica is from Australia. We are all here as part of a study abroad program, and we bonded on our first weekend together with ice cream and wine, not together, but copious amounts of both were consumed. An innocent conversation about how Sylvia broke up with her boyfriend of 3 years before entering the program led to all of us sharing our heartbreaks and boy stories. Needless to say, I ended up with the saddest tale, and if it was a competition, I would have scored the gold medal. It could have been the wine, but it was all of our souls all recognize each other and that we've been best friends ever since, cheering each other on, sharing our triumphs and losses as we navigate our new lives here. These girls are the closest things to family I've had in years. After a few months in the dormitory area, we decided we wanted more space and freedom, especially since each of us had a part-time job. Sylvia was able to talk to her father, who arranged a 4-bedroom flat for us and allowed us to be closer to our jobs, the beach, and the bars. Manning said the fire is ready and going. The band will start soon. Tabby checks her phone before slamming her drink. We all follow suit and head out the door. Our place isn't far from our favorite bar, the Cuckoo's Nest, where we always choose to walk. Did Manning say who's playing tonight? I asked, leaning toward Tabby. Even in the dim lighting, with the sun setting, I can see a slight pinkish blush on Tabby's skin. About a month after we arrived, Tabby started hanging out with Manning. He's a bartender at the Cuckoo's Nest, and he managed to topple my prickly friend right off her no relationships high horse, and she came riding in on. Tabby is a wild spirit and fiercely independent, except around Manning. Somehow, the burly bartender managed to not only talk her into a relationship, but he's become just as head over heels for her as she is for him. I think he said it's rise above, she answers, while also playfully giving me the middle finger, making me laugh. Ooh, Monica jumps up. I know them. I saw the poster in the grocery store. The guitarist is from my hometown, Sydney, and the lead singer is from here in Auckland. Both are so beaver hot. Oh, yes, I heard about them too. Everyone says they're really good. They had a deal with a record company, but it went bad, so they had to replace their drummer and guitarist because of it. Sylvia works at the Lola's house, another popular spot downtown, and hears all the gossip. The rest of us walk there. She keeps us laughing with all the drama that occurs at her job daily. Thankfully, working at Dark Magic Inc., there is no drama. Fletch keeps the place running smoothly, and the other artists who work there have a strict schedule that does not allow for mess-ups. We get to the bar right as the crowd is picking up. Just as Manning said, the bonfire is lit, and he's busy working behind the bar. When he sees us, he nods at us and we make our way over. Hey, ladies, the usual? Yes, please. We nod excitedly. I wave at a few of the others in the crowd I know from school or just from hanging out here. Everyone is getting drinks and making their way to the stage that is set up in the sand. This crowd is crazy, I remark, and Manny nods. It's the band. They're a big deal in Australia and in some parts of Europe. They could have been huge in America, but there was an issue among the band members, he tells us, shrugging his shoulders. When do they start? Tabby leans in, and Manny's attention is snagged instantly on her and the low-cut black tank she is wearing. He smiles, and she blushes. In just a few minutes, he manages to guess all of our drinks before taking the money that Monica offers him. We thank him and join the crowd out on the sand. Pink, yellow, blue, and green lights dance over the stage. Band's equipment is already set up. Their logo is displayed over the drum set. When the lights go down, I can feel the energy and excitement buzzing around us. 4 bodies, silhouetted in darkness, take the stage. The bass line from the bass guitar hums, and my heart rate accelerates and then drops in response. The drummer's beat becomes steady, and soon the notes from the electric guitarist meld together so in sync that the melody sends my blood thrashing in my veins. I couldn't take my eyes off the stage if I wanted to. They hold my attention the same way as the rest of the crowd. Everything goes silent while we wait, and something tells me this concert is about to change my life. Screams and cheers kick up when the lights slowly lift, and right when my gaze lands on the man front and center, the most haunting yet beautiful words are sung from his mouth. You said goodbye and I let you. Did letting go mean forever? It's all lies. Maybe I should have known better. Goosebumps rise on my skin, and I feel a lick of energy slide down my spine, putting me on edge, yet offering comfort at the same time. I watch the singer's mouth move, singing a song that my soul recognizes. The lyrics are lonely yet inspiring. His voice is harsh yet soulful of a methodical smoothness. And holy shit, he's beautiful to look at. His dark brown hair is shaved close to his head, just barely half an inch longer than on the top and the sides. The complete opposite of the long, inky black strands I've imagined running my fingers through. This man's features are rough, with stubble over his angular jaw and around his plump lips. Instead of the warm honey orbs I used to dream about, his eyes are dark. Even from here, I can see the hint of a mischievousness in them. They are the types of eyes that hide the truth and play roulette with lies. It's probably just the trick of the lights, but I swear he looks right at me, with every verse that tells a tale of a one-sided love and letting go. Why haven't I ever heard of these guys before? I lean at Tabby and say in her ear. She smiles and turns back to me. Because some of the best music isn't always born in the States. Clearly, I turn back to the stage. What's his name? Bex Wilson, Monica answers and bumps her hip with mine, dancing along with the beat. He's beaver hot, and I nod in agreement. And just like that, an ordinary night is becoming a night I won't forget. I mentally take note of their band name again, determined to see them anytime I can. Song after song, the band plays their original material, and I keep falling in love with their sound. I dance with the girls, and we take turns heading back to the bar to get drinks. I have an enjoyable buzz going on. Thank you, everybody. You all look beautiful tonight. Bex yells into the mic, his voice breaking slightly and sounding throaty from being used all night. The crowd erupts into cheers for them once again as they exit the stage. That was unbelievable, Sylvia gushes next to me, and I wrap my arm around her waist. So good, Monica agrees. We head back to the bar where Manning is pouring last calls. I slide up to the bar and wave at him. He nods and then goes back to pouring. I turn back towards Manning and wait for our drinks. Hey girl, Mia with the flower tattoo, a husky voice that I recognize says next to my ear. I whip to the side, my face only inches from a smiling Spider. Without his hoodie on, I can see the crop of blonde hair on top of his head, sweat dripping down his temples. His cheeks are red and he almost looks out of breath. His t-shirt and jeans look very familiar. Oh my God, were you on the stage? Are you in the band? I turn to him, giving him my full attention. He chuckles lightly and holds a finger against his lips. I glance around and realize that no one has caught on to him standing here yet. A blush tinges my cheeks and I lean closer. Sorry. Spider shrugs and grabs the water that Manning places on the bar in front of him. They nod at each other and fist bump. What'd you think of the show? I hesitate. It's been a very long time since I've talked with anyone about music, usually pretending that I know nothing about it. Tabby knows that I used to sing and play piano, but I've pushed that part of me deep down inside. That is the old Amelia, and I prefer being this new version of Mia. My eyes flick up and Spider's crystal blue gaze lands on mine. Warmth heats my veins. You guys are really good. Your drummer kept the beat right. The guitarist knew when to crank the tempo and the electric guitar. I trail off and his eyes grow wider. Shit, did I say too much? I should have just left it at really good. Keep going, Spider nudges me lightly, a playful smile on his lips. I want to hear all about how I made your heart race and your panties wet with my electric guitar. I laugh out loud. That's pretty presumptuous. He shoves his hands in his pockets. Okay, how would you describe it then? I tilt my head. I was going to say that your playing gave life to the song. No one stopped dancing the entire night. I feel comfortable around Spider, familiar, and we only just met days ago. How's your new ink? He changes the conversation and glances down at my arm where the pink petals tease the edge of my jacket. It's healing. I shrug and fidget with my drink. I notice farther down the bar that the girls return from the bathroom and are eyeing us. Tabby winks and I feel my blush move down my neck. Great, they probably think I'm flirting with him. What kind of flower did you get? Show me yours first. I raise my brow at him. I feel protective of my new tattoo. It's a piece of my history that no one will ever understand. How do you explain the years of heartbreak and yearning being wrapped into the symbolism? Babe, I'm all about show me yours and I'll show you mine, he winks. You're terrible, I tell him, putting my finger at his chest. And you look like you could be trouble. Spider grabs my hand and before I can react, he pulls my arm out, the jean material rising up and exposing my tattoo. A magnolia? It means endurance, nobility, and beauty, a new voice says next to us. One glance at the newcomer and my eyes widen. About time you got here, Spider says and lets my arm go from his grasp. My throat feels thick as I turn my gaze away from his and glance between them. Both Bex and Spider are staring, watching, like they actually care what I have to say. Magnolias look delicate, but they're actually very tough. They have to adapt to survive. Beck's eyes glint, but he doesn't say anything. He nods as if he knew and maybe was impressed that I didn't just pick a magnolia for no reason. I grab my drink and push my body through the crowd to where the girls are waiting. Were you just talking to Riggs Mitchell and Bex Wilson? Sylvia dances excitedly. I thought his name was Spider. I scrunch my nose and then slam my drink. The tequila from the margarita burns slightly, but it's quickly chased away by the ice. Only his band members and a few people close to him call him that. Monica's eyes grow bigger. A hint of awe laces her tone. I roll my eyes and laugh. All right, that's enough googly eyes. Let's go home. I take the lead and shuffle everyone out the door. The minute we hit the fresh air, a slight breeze rolls past us. It feels amazing, not to be pressed against so many sweaty bodies. Are you waiting for Manning? Monica asks Tabby, who shrugs. She opens her mouth to answer, but her words halt. Mia, Bex calls from next to me. The smoky tone of his voice curls around my name. I turn so fast I stumble. A warm hand lands on my arm, keeping me from falling. I glance at the strong tan fingers, up to the tattooed hand, and glance right at Spider. Thanks. Are you okay? Bex asks a serious expression, making his eyes light up while he studies me. I nod, unable to speak. Are they following me? Look, I wanted to apologize. I wasn't trying to make you feel like a groupie. Bex eyes me warily, glancing up at the small group of friends and gives them a small smile before stepping closer to me. My head tilts up to look at him. I'm sorry. My brain fritzes. The tequila has chosen this moment to render me speechless. I managed to get out and Spider laughs. We broke her. Look, I want to hear about what you had to say about the music. Are you free to see our show maybe tomorrow? We can talk more after. Bex tilts his head, a small smile playing over his lips. I find my gaze straying there, and I fight to keep my booze brain from staring. Okay, I finally get the word out. Great. Spider clasps his hands. His fingers dive into the pocket of my jacket, and he pulls my phone out. He hands it to me, and I unlock the screen. He types in a number, and his own phone lights up. You have my number, and I have yours. I'll tell you the venue name as soon as our manager gives us the information. Looking forward to it, Mia. Bex leans down so we're face to face. He smiles, and I shiver slightly. Yeah, me too, I respond. An arm slides around my shoulders, and Spider gives me a side hug. See you tomorrow, beautiful. I watch as they walk away, completely frozen on the sidewalk. Did that really just happen? Sylvia slides up next to me. I feel Monica at my back, and Tabby steps up to my side. Holy shit, that was Beaver epic. Done. Sorry, I kept getting mixed up with my
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Sorry.
That was so good.
No, I loved it so much. I feel like
Yes. Nicely
Did you like the
played on
beavers?
The
I
beavers.
forgot how many
Oh my
swears
gosh.
I had in there till I was reading it, and I was like, oh no.
I love it,
It's
and I
so
actually feel
good.
like Dylan now needs to make a T-shirt that says "Beaver Hot."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like that needs to be like a T-shirt, like a romance
He's
happy hour
so
T-shirt. Beaver Hot.
that would be cute.
That was
So
so
Beaver
good.
Hot.
Stickers on a mug everywhere. It'd be great.
And I can see that in our
That was
future.
okay.
Yep.
I'm obsessed.
And did you like my
with that.
bonfire? Because that's what it opens with. I was like, that
Yes.
is bonfire.
Yep. No, that was
Loved
great.
it. That was great.
Oh,
I love
thanks.
that so much.
Well, we do have a couple questions. So we'll get them to them quick. Linda, she came through. Okay. What is your favorite spot to visit in your own city, and what makes it so special to you? Linda, that's a great question. You're on it tonight.
Should we have Ashton go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in my hometown, we have a lake that I like to go to visit, sometimes get inspiration from. I actually have a whole series that's set in Minnesota called the Midwest Boys series. So I've been there. I've taken a lot of things from my small town and put them in that book and in that series. So a little bit of everything, but for sure that lake, it's very meaningful to my characters. It's where they've confessed and where they had that first magical kiss. So that is what I would say mine is.
And what about you, Ashley?
You know, I was trying to think of some beautiful natural places here in Houston and was coming up with nothing. But I do have a favorite restaurant. That's my favorite spot in town. And it's called Squabble, and it's so fun. And it's like my special celebration restaurant. So I get to go there and have a glass of sparkling rosé whenever something good happens, if I release a book or someone buys a book, just big occasions like that. So I would say that's my favorite place.
Nice.
I like that.
Beautiful. Okay. And what is the one genre that you would like to write but have not yet had the courage to dip your toes into?
Ooh,
I
question.
have dipped my toes into every genre and all those manuscripts, like, a quarter done or something, or even less, are sitting in my computer. And I'm just waiting for my agent to give me permission to go for it. So
I would say probably like I would really love to try some type of like paranormal or like fantasy, but the worlds and the names of things like really scare me. So I've tried. I started writing 2 chapters in a paranormal book, but I have stopped because I just get too nervous. Someday I might finish it.
I'm
We need
obsessed
to
with paranormal,
chat
so I'm
and
rooting for this.
Yeah. We need to chat and like give each other confidence. You give me confidence to write first person. I'll give you confidence to write paranormal. I love writing paranormal. So
Ugh.
yeah. All right. And Dylan, I think that's it. I think we're actually at a wait.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Nope. We have another
Jennifer
question from Jennifer.
I know she pulled through last second.
Yes. Last minute. Got one
what
more.
do you do when you get writer's block? Jennifer, I hope you're asking them and not us. Did she miss the whole conversation about the beavers?
Well, I think
not.
She did come in a little late, but yeah.
Oh.
When Dawn gets writer's block, she inserts a beaver into her book.
Yeah.
So,
but you
we
guys
would like to hear what Ashton and Ashley do.
I consume as much art as I can. So I like go see paintings at museums. I watch films, read books, just like reading and watching things that are really well done by other people just charges my brain. So it usually works. Or I scream or complain to my husband until he's like, enough, start working.
I usually have to take some time away from it. And sometimes I start something else. That sounds really bad too. I kind of jump around between lots of different projects, but and then usually I have to listen to music or watch some type of a drama show just to kind of be like, oh wait, that's a good idea. And then I can make it back to my characters or I like that feeling that gave me. And then I go back. So, but sometimes I just have to switch to something else.
Yeah.
That's a really good.
That makes sense though. Dawn and I were talking before, like either one of you joined us about, just sometimes I feel like we don't give ourselves enough time to, I was saying like breathe between books, but just you empty that creative well. And then I feel like you have to fill it back up again because it does kind of go dry.
It does.
So yeah.
How many books do you publish a year, Dylan? Or write a year, I guess.
I'm not sure. I have my fingers in a couple different things. So I would say, I mean, this book this year, I think, well, and some of the ones I'm working on right now are short. And so, like 20, 25,000 words. So this year I will have published 7?
Oh my God.
Yeah. But some of those are short.
You let me complain about 2 without saying anything.
But it's different, right? Like, because I'm a hybrid author, so I write trad and I also write indie, and it's different because what, like for me to get an indie book ready is not nearly as time consuming to get a trad book ready. Because with the trad books, I feel like there's so many back and forths and so many more steps and things than with publishing, self-publishing. So
and then
nimbleness.
And then the wait time in trad.
Right.
It's just
right.
Even your own agent, you're waiting months for your own agent to get back to you with it. And, let alone the editors and
okay,
that's true. I'm still amazed though.
Well, and I mean,
you're doing
7 is nothing compared to. I mean, I don't know how many. I have friends who are publishing like 30 some odd books a year. So like 7, I feel like is not even that.
Just the sheer idea or ability to pull that many like ideas out of your brain.
I feel like it's almost not possible. Like maybe there's some ghostwriting purchases
Oh, that's
or
not
like,
true.
I mean, there's got to be 30 books. I mean, unless they're
No.
like short stories,
Some
like 30
people, I
short
mean,
stories.
I get so caught up in other things, you know. I mean, we do romance happy hour, and then I do book box babe, and I mean things like that. That I have to have a variety of things, like like Ashley, with like you're saying, like you have to
Yeah.
write in different genres to kind of keep things interesting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people who literally just sit and write all day, every day, and just never
Yeah.
well does not run dry. I mean, I'm amazed because I feel
Wow,
like
that is
I
amazing.
do need that space in between books. Some
Yeah.
people don't.
Well, I
Some
mean, like
people
So much
Amy
awe.
Dawes. Amy Dawes was on the show before, and I think she wrote like what 30,000 words in a day or something.
I don't
Oh, my
remember.
goodness. I'm happy if I can get like 3,000 in a day, and that's
Yeah.
like a stretch sometimes.
That's
I
like
don't
my
remember.
Everest for a day.
That would be nice.
It would be so nice.
Yep. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's there are a lot of people who are extremely prolific.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's
I
amazing.
struggle, and I can't. I was actually thinking about this the other day when I was walking in. I was like, "Gosh, I wish that I could, like translate. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for, Dylan?
I-
Where
I
you
don't
talk
know.
She's
talk
like,
to
your
your
brain's
computer.
connected to mine,
Talk
right?
to your computer, and it writes your book for you.
Dictate.
Oh,
Dictate.
Ah, bingo.
that would
I
be
wish
cool,
I
but
could dictate.
I would forget commas and periods, and like I would forget all those. Like it would just a complete run-on
I
sentence.
know it would be, and I would be like, I don't even know where to start with this to edit it. Like I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then but I sit there. I have to focus. I have to have the screen. I have to have darkness around me. My dog not drooling on my lap. My husband and my kids gone. My coffee next to me, and then I can just sit there and focus. But
Mhm.
I have to focus. I can't just be talking to my computer or my phone and get a book in. I can't do that. I wish I could. I do. But we are past time. We are over
We
time,
are,
like
yes.
always.
Okay.
We always run over a little bit. So yeah, I think let's wrap up. And as we do that, I just want to remind everybody that we do have a giveaway posted on the Romance Happy Hour Facebook page. Ashley is giving away a signed paperback copy of The Boyfriend Candidate that she read from
Ooh.
tonight. And Ashton, you have 2 books up, the 2 in your
Yep.
series that you read
First
from tonight.
2. Yep.
So yeah, so make sure you get over there and enter the giveaway. And then just before we say goodbye, Ashley, you want to let people know like where's the best place to find you?
Yes, my website is www.ashleywinstead.com, but you can usually find me on Instagram much too often when I should be writing at Ashley Winstead Books is my handle.
All right. And how about you, Ashton?
Yeah, don't go to my website. It's a complete disaster right now. It's actually under construction. It's getting redone. So you can mostly find me on Instagram as well, at author Ashton Brooks. I'm over there a lot.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We told you it would go fast. And I think it did.
Yes,
It always does.
always.
Fastest hour of my week is when we're on Romance Happy Hour. So anything else to add, Dawn?
No.
Okay.
I was waiting for the beaver
I
to
know,
emerge
yeah.
somehow.
I was considering it. Then I thought, no, Dylan's probably had enough beavers.
We were waiting for the genius. All right.
Well, this was a delight. Thank you both
Yeah.
so much. And thank you, Ashton.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I could do it. So.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being
Thank
with us.
you so much.
Deanna, I'm sorry. Yes, you
Yeah.
are popping in as we are signing off, but
But we
it
love
will
you
be
and we
there.
missed you.
Sorry we missed you. It will be there for you in its entirety to go back
Yep.
and you don't want to miss this one. It was a lot of fun. So
It was fun. Yeah.
all right. Well, Ashley and Ashton, thank you so much for being with us. And we will see everybody else next time, second Thursday in September.
Mhm.
So all right.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.